The March issue of the Walrus magazine, which will be on, if it isn't already, it's on newsstands soon.
I've seen it, yeah.
You know the one we're talking about here. We're showing it right now.
Yes, I've seen it, yeah.
Yes, That Time We Beat the Americans, A Citizen's Guide to the War of 1812, and there's Uncle Sam with a big black eye, courtesy of, I guess technically we weren't Canada yet, but courtesy of the British North Americans who were here running the show at that time. But you know, some people will say it is typically Canadian for Canada to get out there and show off about the fact that it fought the Americans to a tie 200 years ago. That war was a tie. Yes. I'm not sure that we won. It was a tie. Well, and,
yes,
you know, there we go celebrating something typically Canadian, a tie. You find that weird?
You know,
In just 20 minutes, the British High Command has been obliterated. The survivors realize they will never reach New Orleans and halt the attack. Improbably, Old Hickory's ragtag army has just trounced the world's best fighting force in little more than 2 hours. More than 2,000 British soldiers have been killed, wounded, reported missing, or taken prisoner. Americans report only 13 dead and several dozen wounded.
There has never been in the annals of military history such a lopsided victory as Andrew Jackson had in defeating the British.
It made no sense. Who could believe such a victory? It proved to the American people for all time that by God they did have the ability and the will and the leadership to defeat any country that might try to invade us. It had been in question. No more, thanks to General Andrew Jackson and the men and women who fought in the Battle of New Orleans.
On February 4th, nearly 4 weeks after the battle, news of the victory reaches Washington. The capital goes wild. "Glory be to God that the barbarians have been defeated," blared a local newspaper. "Glory to Jackson. Glory to the militia, sons of freedom, benefactors of your country. All hail."
There's a new sense of national pride. There's a patriotic fervor where they're voicing things of American virtue and American purity and American values as they had not been since the Revolution.
9 days later, the peace delegation returns to Washington with the Treaty of Ghent, formally ending the War of 1812. The terms of the treaty merely restored territorial boundaries and maritime rights to what they were before the conflict. Ironically, the treaty doesn't resolve the chief cause, impressment, which had ceased to be an issue with the end of the Napoleonic War. Congress ratifies the treaty on February 17th.